Thank you very much. It's great to be here. It's really exciting for us to be involved in a forum such as this with a group of people that are all involved in the same thing that we are involved with, and that is caring for and helping our wild koalas. And so tonight I want to talk about who we are. And we were founded about 10 years ago. In fact, last night we had our celebration for our 10th anniversary, which was a great party. And we had about 50 odd of our members and guests come to a location in Deception Bay, where we heard for some fantastic speakers and had a really fun night to mark the occasion of our 10th anniversary. I've been involved with Queensland Koala Crusaders for a couple of years, and for the last 12 months or so, acting as treasurer and on the board of Queensland Koala Crusaders as well. Our AGM's coming up, so I'm not sure whether I'm going to keep my job. It depends on how the members think I've gone. But anyway, it's not about me. It's about the fact that we're active throughout Queensland. We've had consultations and activities with people as far away as Central Queensland. We've been working in Noosa and the Sunshine Coast and Gympie and down through Moreton Bay, out into the Somerset region and to areas, Crow's Nest. Last weekend we were at a koala function up in Crow's Nest, talking to the folk up there about identifying what sort of koala populations they've got and helping them in their efforts to protect their local koala population. They're very proud of their koalas up there, so we're proud to be able to get up there and help them. Our vision is fairly simple really, and that is to see koalas surviving and thriving in abundance in a safe and secure wild environment. And that's what I think we all would love to see, but that's what drives us. And in order to do that, we've formulated a strategy with some three strategic focal points, which involves advocacy and engagement, and that is engagement with the community, it's engagement with government and businesses and everybody, individuals out there, landholders who are involved in the care and protection of koalas. We want to work with governments, we want to collaborate, we want to work with other groups as well to bring together our energy, because as we work together we can get more stuff done. I'm really excited by the fact that when I look out there and I see so many groups doing so many things, from our friends the rescuers and to the hospitals and the researchers, there's so much stuff being done all over the place. And we often don't realise how many things are being done by so many people. And it's when we get together in occasions like this, we see, wow, look at what they're doing, look at what they're doing, that's really cool. And so that excites me, and it excites me for us to be playing our part. The major thing that we do is habitat, both protection of existing habitat and planting of new habitat. And I'm going to talk about planting for the major part of what I'm going to present in a minute. But we also have a program to identify opportunities for creating sanctuaries where koalas who may not otherwise be viable in the wild can live out their life without necessarily needing to be euthanized. We're also interested in research. We work with individual researchers and research organisations. We want to know what their pet projects are, and if we can take a role in helping them find some funds to get done what they want to do, that's good for them, it's good for the koalas, and it's good for us. And as we learn, so can we teach. And we have a program where we take our people go into schools and talk to kids about what the threats are with koalas and how they can change their behaviours in order to save and protect the koalas in their local neighbourhoods. I promise I didn't know that Councillor Davis was going to be here tonight when I put this slide up. But we had a meeting, a very successful meeting with Lord Mayor Schrinner and Councillor Davis a couple of months ago, where we were able to share our thoughts on koalas, and we learned a lot about what the council's doing about koala protection, and it was a great opportunity to just sit down and exchange some ideas. So that's the type of thing that we like to do. But tonight I'm going to focus on what we do with planting on private property, because we identified that in the southeast Queensland koala habitat areas, approximately 76% of the land in that area is either privately owned or privately leased and managed. So we thought, right, we need to get with these private landholders and help them establish more habitat, create habitat, so that they can do their part in helping the koalas. And there is a few things that we want to take account of when we select properties for planting. And first is the passion and commitment from the landowners themselves. And we've worked with some great people who are really excited about getting involved. In fact, there was last weekend up at Crusaders, Linda did a presentation to the group of about 70 people in Crusaders. And one lady came up to us after the event, and she's a private landowner in up near Kingaroy. And she was so moved by what was presented that she was actually in tears. It was really special, and we're going to be talking to her next year, in the early part of next year, about what we can do with her up there in Kingaroy to re-establish some koala habitat up there. I probably should have put free in inverted commas in this, because it's almost impossible to have something that's completely free of threats. But talking primarily about the habitat itself, obviously we don't want to go in and plant a habitat on a piece of land that's going to have a highway through it in the next couple of years, or if it's bounded by large urban developments or industrial developments. But we want to assess the threats in any particular area to make sure it makes sense, really. And obviously, if it's got a proximity to existing habitat, then that's even better, because that allows us the opportunity to create some corridors to help these koalas move through their range. So I've got 3 stories that I want to share with you that are private plantings that we've done or are about to do just in the last year. And the first one is a place called Koala, which is just near Veridale in Sunshine Coast hinterland, just out of Yamundi. We did a planting here in the middle of the year. We planted about 200 odd, something like that, 200 trees. The property is a former macadamia farm, so beautiful fertile volcanic soils, high rainfall area, beautiful location, and some magnificent habitat surrounding this property. And we got to know the lady who owns it through Megan, our ambassador, and she was very excited. And she's one of those passionate people that believes in doing things on property that she owns to make a difference. And we realised that there was something special about this place, both its location and its proximity to existing habitat and the attitude that the lady who owns it had. So we had the opportunity to apply for a Queen's Jubilee grant, and we were successful in getting that grant, and that allowed us to come back and do another planting. And the picture here is what we actually planted. It's a gully, if you like, for want of a better word. There's a spring just in there is a spring. So it was feeding down, it had some erosion issues, and it was full of grassy weeds and stuff that was, this high. And so the landholder, the guy who works there, got in, cleared it, got rid of all the rubbish and did some earthworks to create a beautiful, it's almost like an amphitheatre. And then we came in with our team of volunteers and also members of the local community, and we we commenced to plant. That involved drilling holes. I discovered that we drill a hole with a mechanical auger thing with a 100 odd mil auger. My limit is about 200 odd holes in a day. That pulls me up, but some holes are easy to drill. You go with nice loose soil, it goes down like that. Gee, this is a piece of cake. Then the next one you hit a tree root or a rock or something. But anyway, we got the holes dug on the Friday. We came back on the Sunday with our team of volunteers and we started planting trees. And we ended up putting 600 trees into this location all together, and we satisfied the requirements of the grant. But more importantly, we brought the community together. We brought our volunteers in and neighbours and residents, local residents, and people who saw it on Facebook and said, I want to come and have a look at this. They all turned up and they had a great time, and we sat back at the end of it, a bit on the weary side, but with this great feeling of satisfaction that we've done something. The next property I want to talk about is actually next door, and this little firebrand of a lady came to the planting at Alsava, and she got really excited and said, I want to be a part of this. This is good. I have the property that's next door. And so we said, great, we'll come back up, we'll have a chat, we'll have a look, and we'll see what we can do. So we did that. By the time we got back up there, that property, which is here, this is Alsava here, and that's her property there. By the time we got back up there, she rounded up 6 of her neighbours. They all want to be involved. So now, the yellow is all of the areas that we're going to plant on this one road that goes, it's called Litfin Road in Veradale. So all of these places are going to be planted. There's habitat, there's bits of habitat all over the place through there. But what we've got the opportunity is to plant to extend the habitat and to increase that corridor. So eventually we'll have a beautiful koala corridor all the way along that road. It goes back up into a mountain up in here. And who knows how many koalas are up in there? We know there are, but I don't think anybody knows how many there are. And that's one of the really interesting issues as an aside. But that's an exciting project. We're going to start this planting here in a couple of weeks' time, and we'll probably finish it over the course of next year with two or three plantings. We won't try and do it all in one day, but probably March, April, it'll be a nice time to get up there and get planting. The next one is also an interesting property, and it's in the Mount Pleasant area, north of Daybrook. The young couple that own this property, they bought it a few years ago, and they're systematically bringing it back to introducing more and more vegetation, more and more native vegetation, getting rid of a lot of the weed species. And we had some discussions with them, and then we went out and had a talk to them. And what they want to do is really interesting, because they've got habitat. So this bit here is pretty good habitat. There's lots of beautiful blue gums through there, and it backs up back further this way into some really nice habitat as well. They know there's koalas in there, but again, they don't know how many. So this project has some interesting elements to it, because it's got a research element. We want to come in there with the detection dogs and potentially the thermal imaging drones to actually get a baseline population so that we know what we're dealing with. We know they're there, we just don't know how many. Then the next thing we want to do is community engagement. The property owner has already been talking to his neighbours and some of the other members of the community around there about what they are doing. And so we want to bring these people together, and we'll have some workshops so that we can help inform the local communities on the issues and threats about having koalas and the opportunities that they can take advantage of to bring koalas onto their property, because most of the people up there, they think it's pretty cool to have koalas. So if we can put some trees in the ground, help them get koalas on their property, that's going to make them feel better as well. So the third part of this project is that we're going to start planting, and that'll probably happen. I was out there a couple of weeks ago drilling holes. We'll plant a few trees in an area probably before Christmas, but the major planting will start again probably in March or April, around there. This area through here is going to be habitat. So we'll be looking at mixed habitat with koala food trees and a mix of other native trees and understory, so that we're creating a nice biodiverse environment there. So it's not all just about koala trees. We want to help biodiversity, because it's all about giving homes to all sorts of things, with reptiles and birds and gliders and all of those, or even our beautiful snakes. Some lovely snakes out through there, I would imagine. This part here is actually the driveway going into the property, and we're going to plant that with the intention of it being a fodder plantation for the carers. There's several carers who are reasonably close. One of them who we work with a lot, and her big challenge is getting enough leaf to feed the koalas in her care. So if we can create plantations that are easily accessible to her, so these trees in this driveway are going to be easy for her to get to, because it's on the driveway going up to the property. So she'll be able to get to it easily and harvest leaf, and that's going to make her life better. So that's the other element of this. At the conclusion of the plantings, we'll probably have another community workshop where we'll talk about what we've done and what we've been able to achieve, and then over time we'll be able to monitor that situation so that we know what we've managed to achieve, and see if we can start with our baseline of where we started and see what sort of impact maybe in 5 years' time we've done in terms of how many koalas have moved in. It's a bit like the old story, build it and they will come. Let's build it and let's give them a chance and see if they will come. I've got a sneaking suspicion they will. So what do we get from planting trees? Well, koalas need trees. The planet needs biodiversity. Koalas need biodiversity. We need biodiversity. Every plant we get in the ground helps with biodiversity, and we can bring the community together, starting to get behind this movement to get trees in the ground. We're all going to be better off. We'll be better off. The planet will be better off. Our koalas will be better off. I want to end with just sharing a quote from our President, Linda. And she said after one of our plantings recently, "There is nothing like the feeling of releasing a small tree from its pot, placing it in the ground and firming the soil around it, giving it some water. You can almost feel it say thank you." So I think I'll just like to close by saying there's more to come.